If critical stress is affecting your work, then there are two words you need to know: trait and state. Hi, I am Shalini. In this video, I share a common way we falsely blame ourselves just because we mix up these two words, trait and state. Let me explain. There is a difference in what we think, feel, and do or behave based on three things: time, inner drive or motivation, and context. When a pattern of thinking, feeling, and behaving shows up repeatedly over time, usually from a very young age, plus this pattern is fueled by the same inner drive or motivation, and it appears across many situations, what we are looking at is a trait. When one or more of these three are missing, for example, it is not a pattern of thinking, feeling, or behaving. What we are seeing is far more likely a state of being. This is a temporary way of functioning, often when we are very tired, experiencing critical stress, grief, trauma, or something else that's difficult to bear. Let me explain with a positive example and then a negative one. Say someone is a generous person. When you ask them for something, they may give it as a gift. If they offer a loan instead, they are clear about it and they are very generous with their terms. If they can't give, they're upfront. They know the choice they're making and they're truthful about it. People around them sense and trust their generosity, whether it's a gift, a loan, or a no-go for now. This is generosity as a trait. Now, the negative example. A selfish person may also give. It might be a gift or a loan. But if it is a loan, you sense disproportionate harshness in how they handle it or collect it. If it's a gift, they later expect repayment in costly ways, emotionally, mentally, or even physically. You end up exhausted trying to pay back that gift. This is selfishness as a trait. They gave the gift knowing that they would take back more than they gave. We all know both generous and selfish people from their interactions with us, but we cannot see the motive that drives them. What this tells us is that we are usually the best judges of our own trait-based behavior. If we honestly look within ourselves, we know what is driving our giving. We will know if we are giving out of love or care, or if we are using giving to gain an advantage over the other person. Hold on to that, because here is the kicker. If you are a good leader, you may have been naturally generous and never thought about it. Others saw it, you simply lived it. But when you are under critical stress or grief or trauma, your capacity to be generous may decrease. This is because of your state in that moment. Under critical stress or trauma, your body goes into red alert. There are real physiological changes happening in your amygdala, hippocampus, and your prefrontal cortex. Your sympathetic nervous system activates, ready to fight, flight, freeze, or appease to keep you safe. In that bodily state, your capacity to be generous might greatly decrease. At work, you may have once taken time to help your team solve problems, but under critical stress, you may just brush aside a coworker's request and you may not even realize it. Unfortunately, many good leaders misidentify this as a trait, as who they are in their core. But this is a state-based decline. It is not your trait, it is not who you are. And the state-based decline that you are experiencing can be regained as critical stress is resolved, or as you work through your stress, or as you pursue your healing from grief or trauma. What is more damaging is this: many good leaders also move into self-criticism and they conclude, I am selfish, instead of saying, I'm unable to be generous right now. Now contrast that with somebody who consistently wraps manipulation in a cloak of generosity. Over time, their patterns show who they are, what they want, and how they take it. But under critical stress, a morally good leader may mistakenly judge that person as someone in need and themselves as selfish. When you wrongly identify a state as a trait in your personal or professional life, it harms your leadership in two ways. First, it pushes you towards self-criticism. So incorrectly, you invest your energy to prove you're a good person rather than reducing stress, managing triggers, or putting systems in place to restore your work capacity. Second, it decreases your capacity to solve problems. Stress affects our prefrontal cortex. It needs to work well for us to have attention, judgment, and other leadership functions. So when you recognize that your stress has left you in this current state, you can work to decrease your stress instead of trying to push your way through it, which only increases it even more. When you recognize the truth, that is, you need time to de-stress, you can adjust your expectations or change your plans and make sure your work is not adversely affected. The other side is this. Under critical stress or trauma, if you believe the fault lies in who you are, your nervous system continues to stay on high alert to protect you from whoever is causing that stress or trauma. Your thinking shuts down, comes back, but productivity continues to decline over time. The question is, how do you ensure your work is not adversely affected when you're working your way out through critical stress or trauma? There are many ways. One way is the SCRIBE model that I use in my critical stress management coaching. I've included a link below to the video that describes this model. I've also shared a link below to the model itself, which you can use for your reference if you want to. I will briefly share the model here. SCRIBE is the acronym for S, situational scan, C, context scan, reframe findings, identifying and accepting, B, balancing by prioritizing and managing, and E, engaging in truth. For each process in the acronym SCRIBE, we examine it through 4 organizational frames: people, operations, vision, and culture. What it does is it helps you recognize what is happening and ground yourself. Understand what is happening and ground yourself. Accept what is happening and ground yourself. This moves you away from falsely working as if you have a leadership problem to rightly addressing the capacity issue that you're facing. The model then helps you to start prioritizing the next steps. The last part is engaging in truth. Truth is strength. So when you own your state-based action for exactly that, a temporary decrease in your capacity, your fear and your false guilt will start to go away. You may notice that you're operating with grounded strength and confidence. Your nervous system may start to move towards a grounded calm instead of a temporary calm, because now you're actively working to decrease stress, or you're working through your grief and trauma. And over time, you will not just recover, you can thrive and lead with courage, strength, and integrity. We end here today. If you liked the video, do connect with us. Follow us or subscribe on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook for regular videos on managing work when you're under critical stress or trauma, to regain capacity and to thrive again at work. As I always say, if you're under critical stress or you're going through trauma or betrayal, whatever it is, it does not have to adversely affect your work. Don't be afraid to get the help and the support you need. Work with your psychiatrist, therapist, or critical stress management coach on your terms so that you feel safe and comfortable. If you would like me to work with you as your critical stress management coach, I will be honored. I've shared the link to our website below. As always, I wish you the best work life.